Okay, recording has started. There is both a handwritten assignment and programming challenge for this week. Make sure you do both. I guess we'll take questions about the handwritten assignment first. Anybody have any questions about that? Any questions about the Module 4 assignment? Okay, let's look at the forums then. So I think there were some questions posted there, and I want to make sure those are captured in the recording. Okay, they're blocking my tabs. Hi, I had a question about problem 2b and 5 of module 4. For 2b, do we use the equation in section 3.43 to solve? However, precision is not given. So, okay, let's look at problem 2b. 2b, suppose all the nodes apply fault tolerant average, apply internal synchronization. I should do a screen share of my entire screen, not an app, so that we can flip back and forth. Okay. All right, 2b. Suppose all the nodes apply the fault tolerant average method for the internal synchronization. Determine the corrected time. Yeah, you don't need to be given precision for that. You know, you'll just say we're doing this for nodes 3 and 7. So you've got the times received by 3. So just apply the fault tolerant average. You don't need to know the precision for that. Notice 5 is a writing assignment. Yes, it is. Given your description of NTP, explain what the program Cronny does. Yeah, you don't need an entire page for that. So yeah, you know, one paragraph, half a page is probably fine for 5. A little bit longer for 4. Okay. Am I overthinking the problem with the, okay, it's a MATLAB question. Let's see if there's a, yeah, so one more handwritten assignment question. Is problem 3 supposed to be a continuation of problem 2? Problem 3 is not a continuation of problem 2. So these stand on their own. Yeah, so you do not use the slide 68 equation for that. There's some other ones involving the convergence function and jitter, and there you can use. Any questions about the MATLAB assignment portion of the homework? Okay, this guy says he used a convergence function value of 0, but once he does his RNT calculation and applies it, the numbers don't have a convergence of 0. That's fine. Yeah, it won't. You know, so don't worry about that. I don't think he had any other questions. Yeah, I should probably also say, pretend that the other clocks don't know about the reference clock, only use T1 to T7 in your FTA calculation. There we go. Any other questions about the MATLAB portion? Go through it just so you make sure you know what you're doing on each thing. Given a convergence function and a precision requirement, calculate what the resynchronization interval should be. So that'll be a number. Write a MATLAB function that implements the fault-tolerant average method in MATLAB. So that should be, you know, a separate function, not just part of a larger loop that you'll be calling later. So include that in your write-up. Explain how it works. You know, then write a MATLAB code, you know, loop to perform the FTA method on the data, just T1 through T7, not the don't use the reference clock. You know, every resynchronization interval that you calculated in step 1. You know, so I recommend marching through the array until you hit the next rsync interval. You know, I've seen some people implement this where they you know, find the point closest to the rsync interval, apply it there, you know, go to the next one, apply it there. So they've got this plot of lines that have these, you know, 7 or so spikes in it where they applied it because they didn't apply it to the rest of the values, just the ones where the rsync is. So you probably need to have a nested loop there. You know, and so you'll generate a graph similar to what slide 29, you know, the module 4 that has the separate diverging and then coming together, and the diverging coming together, and so on. You know, it should, you know, if you look at it, you'll see, you know what it's doing. So, any other questions about either the handwritten assignment or the MATLAB assignment? Oh, now I should also probably mention while I've got you here. You know, I haven't informed them yet, so this might come as a surprise to them, but I am going to be sending, you know, referrals for 2 students to Community Standards because they found a solution online to the MATLAB, you know, for module 3, and you know, submitted that instead of their own work. So you know, I'll be you know, submitting a referral for them for that. Also trying to have that content pulled from the website that it's on, but I only have so much power there. So you know, if you're going to find answers online, you know, don't use them verbatim. We know about the ones on Chegg and the ones on, you know, some other websites. So I think they're both grad students though. So if you guys are undergrads, you know, you shouldn't have to sweat about that. Just, you know, don't cheat. So if there's no, and if you guys haven't done, you know, an onboarding exam in a while, you know, do that if you're planning on doing the online version of the test. I am planning on providing copies of the test for OU Testing Services. So if you feel more comfortable taking the test in person, I think you may have to request a time with them 72 hours in advance. You know, I think exams in like 2 weeks. You know, you're more than welcome to take it in person. You know, or if you don't like installing the Proctor Track, you know, spyware on your computer to be watched, and if you prefer to do it in person, you know, it's perfectly fine. But if you're gonna do it online, you remember you have to do the onboarding exam, you know, a certain amount of time ahead of time. I think the exams tab might still be hidden from students, so I need to enable that. But once I do that, you know, you should be able to do the onboarding if you haven't done it in a year. I think you have to do it once a year. So, any other questions about, I guess, about getting your exam taken then? Of course, we'll talk more in detail about what's going to be on the exam as it approaches. It's modules 1 through 7, so we still got a couple weeks. And of course, the exam window overlaps with module 7. So, you know, if you're waiting to do your homework module 7 until Wednesday, and the exam is due on Saturday, you'll have less time to prepare for it than if you were doing your work promptly. So, keep that in mind too. And I know this week's assignments are a little long. Next week's a lot easier, I promise. So it balances out in the end, even if it's a little annoying now. So any more questions? Or any questions, I should say, at all, since no one asked anything. Except for the forums. All right, then I will stop the recording, and you guys are free to go. Stop recording.